I had a tweet that I didn't expect to do numbers the other day, and numbers for me is not a lot. Like I don't get those like crazy viral ones. Like I get like a few hundred.
We're S band. We're shadow band. You know, it's
Sometimes I feel like I am, but there was a bunch of people that saw this one, and I um I tweeted because I've been thinking a lot about like during football season every year. This thought comes through my mind because you see other CBS shows that are playing at
yeah.
night or Fox or whatever. Like you see what they're advertising, and it's always like it's like NCIS Australia, and you're like, all right, cool. Which I believe they're doing for anyone who's interested in. And but I was thinking about one because I turned on TNT because the NBA game was going to be on, and there was a rerun of Bones that was on, and I was like, I don't know anybody who's ever watched this show. Like, of course, somebody has to have, but nobody. I've never heard anyone say like, "Yo, did you see Bones?"
It's like Dave Matthews Band. Like no one listens to them, but everyone listens to them. Kind of thing. It's like what? Who listens to
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's a lot. Yeah, I guess maybe it's just one of those shows because I used to watch CSI back in the day. Like, and like I remember like going to school and like other kids like with their families watching. We're like, wasn't that shit crazy? That dude got like chemically castrated, like and he still molested the kid, like, and yeah, like fucking fought through it, man. It was crazy, but the
powered through it.
Yeah. I guess that shit doesn't solve it all. That's crazy.
From the 5 to the 6, we be in the mix with that rare candy paint job on the whip. I need food for the kids, money for the rent. Fuck a lockdown, baby, I can't do that shit. And I don't never vote, cause I'm fucking broke. And either way, I know the police ain't gon' leave me alone. On a plane by the visit Glen Rock, Crypto told me I should bring the Glock with me. So I packed up my piece and I'm sliding. Cause we might get caught up in a riot. Middle finger Trump, middle finger Biden. Fuck a left, fuck a right, is you riding? Know you love to see it, dudes rocking. Ain't no politics, baby, we just talking. From the birds to the bricks, we be in the mix with that rare candy paint job on the whip. Who you with?
But no, this one had like Bones. I tweeted that, like I was like, this is a show that I don't. Nobody's ever told me that they watched. I never heard anybody talk about it, but it's in syndication. It was on for like I think like 7 seasons or something, and I remember seeing commercials for it constantly, and I kind of knew the dynamic of like what's happening in the show. But then I said that, and then a bunch of people were like, "Bro, you don't watch Bones?"
Yep.
You're not like, are you kidding? You're not part of the Bones Brigade? You're not a bonehead?
Fucking Bones, dude.
Yeah, you're not. I'm like,
bonehead.
I guess not. They're like, oh, all right. No, I mean, and then like you'd see some people like, I watch this with my mom every single day after school.
Yeah,
and like, all right, cool, whatever. I got those shows with my mom too.
But know the episode names.
Yeah. But it's like that's crazy because like I've seen you post a million times, but never about Bones.
Yeah,
this person, like it's a mutual of mine. Like you've posted about every movie you've watched, every meal you've eaten. Not
dude, should we live stream first 3 episodes our reaction? Just see what's up.
I've tried to get through like 10 minutes of it, like getting ready for like Mavericks Pacers, and then like and then I'm just like, nope, sorry, because I found out the girl's name is Zooey Deschanel's sister is the girl. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that. So they the Deschanels ran Fox for a while because she had the new girl. I remember. And
very familiar with that show. Very familiar with that show.
Wow. Yeah. It's crazy. Do you ever see the episode of Zooey Deschanel as the guest judge on Top Chef?
No.
This was back in the day. She married the guy from Death Cab for Cutie, which of course she did. And she was like complaining that the meal wasn't like perfectly vegan or something like that. And it's like so Portlandia, like ass like that chick. Of course, like that chick. Like you look at her. And the chefs are like, are you fucking serious? Like, like, competition. I'm fighting for my life. And Zooey Deschanel can't eat the protein that I put in it.
Yeah, protein.
But yeah, like the Bones shit is crazy, man. Like I was people were popping up. It was like I think it was like 32 quote tweets.
Jesus Christ, damn.
Yeah,
that is fucking,
that's what I mean. Like it's not even so much like the likes and stuff like that. I was like, wow, that's a lot. Like it's a lot of people, and there were a couple like, I actually love this show. I actually did. I'm like, all right, I guess whatever. Because the boomer shows now, I was talking to Scott about this, and a couple other people, like they're kind of like laundering Zoomer politics takes for the boomers that watch it.
Yeah,
I feel
it's like it's like skips a generation, you know?
Yeah, where it's like the multiracial community computer hacking squad that helps out like the boomer detective or something. Like, I'm in, you know, and oh no, there's a problem. What's the problem? What's the problem? Yeah, like those shows. And but this like Bones, I just like in my head, I was just thinking like Bones or any of these like PD or fire department shows with like Rob Lowe or whatever. Any of those, like I guarantee you, like during COVID, I would have liked to have seen some of their episodes because I could see one of the shows where like there's a body that comes in or something like that, and it's like he's looking at it, it's like, ah man, he didn't listen. I mean, he was horse paste, guys. He thought horse paste to fight a respiratory illness.
This one died suddenly over here.
Yeah,
This one died.
I guess now he's just reduced to bones.
Yeah, dun, dun.
And then they're like, we didn't examine the brain. Was there one?
Yeah,
yeah, like those,
I'm not sure. Yeah,
yeah, it's just like, man,
low detectable levels. Interesting.
Oh, gosh, I know. Like, I gotta. Every time I can't even do it for like the content purposes. Like, I sit down and watch these shows, and I'm like, this seriously feels like Sesame Street for boomers or something. Like, it's like just like something that they crank them out. They're wildly successful, but I think people just put them on and don't pay attention.
It's kind of like an NPC show, you know. We're really hating on the Bones here. This stuff we need to watch. We just throw a dart at the wall, pick an episode at random, and live stream it. That'd be fun.
Yeah, because 24 was cool. I watched that with my dad, Jack Bauer, Kiefer Sutherland back in the day.
Kiefer?
That was a sick ass show. And I remember I had a coworker, the same guy who had the tight end take. Same guy. This guy was electric. Had to take every day, just a killer novel take that I'd never heard before. And he was talking about like music because there's a bunch of guys that rap. Yeah, it was a warehouse in East Palo Alto. A bunch of guys there rapped. If you're shocked, he was like, yeah, I got a concept for a rap album. Yeah. He was like, yeah, I got a concept for a rap album. He's like 24 tracks. Black Bauer. You know what I mean? He's like, it's me.
Black Bauer.
It's like, 24 things happening to me, you know? I was like, to be honest, yeah. He's like, yeah, but I can't rap. I was like, well, that's an obstacle. You know? That's
like when you come up with a good band name, but you're like, I know the band name. I just can't play an instrument.
I come up with great short story ideas all the time, and I can't put them on wax.
That like Google Doc, dude. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we got a lot going on today. I saw one other thing that was really funny. Have you heard the story? Because the only reason I paid attention to this because I thought it was Matthew Rife as far as like Rife technology, and what happened?
Yeah, I just cut out. Keep going. Yeah.
But like, it was Matthew Rife. That was like, I thought it was Rife Technology, Matthew Rife. But apparently, there's a stand-up comedian that's like in some trouble right now named Matthew Rife. I don't know where he came from. He looks very astroturfed, but he kind of won the internet, which I thought was interesting. So he told a joke that he shouldn't have told in some Netflix special. Apparently, it was a domestic violence joke. The joke itself didn't make me laugh. His double down and triple down, excellent, because he shouldn't have apologized. Like if a joke isn't funny to me, I don't get mad, but apparently a lot of people do. And to be fair, I will laugh at a domestic violence joke. This is not my qualm with him. But he said, I was at a restaurant and the hostess had a black eye, and I was like, man, they should put her back in the kitchen. They're like, well, yeah, something. Oh, yeah, but if you can't cook, or you probably got a black eye because you can't cook or something like that. It was like some misogynist, like domestic violence joke. Whatever. Didn't hit. People lost their mind. Apparently, he's like a guy, like he's a real good looking, like comically like Zoomer looking guy, but like good looking guy that I guess a lot of like girls and gay guys got into, and then couldn't believe that the stand-up comedian pushed the line. And they started going crazy. But so what he did on Instagram stories, he put like, hey, I click this link here. It's my apology. Like it's long form, like click the link here. And you can put like the link on Instagram that like, click on the stories. And it took him to a special ed helmet store to buy like a special ed helmet, like if you're offended or whatever.
Yeah. Double down.
So then
That's
yeah,
wild.
no, I was like, yeah, like that's more than I would ever do. Like that is sick. And and I was like, no, but right, that's what you shouldn't do, because like even if he apologized, then it would become up to these weird Zoomer people to like do a Kafka like trial experience to say, actually, I didn't buy his apology. And even then, like he didn't apologize to every woman that's been. He didn't go to a woman's
It's never
shelter.
enough,
right? So don't do it. Yeah, don't do it. And actually, shit on the concept of it, which is what I liked. Shit on the concept of apologizing, because what people's biggest gripe was, and I love this. This is my favorite thing, is because people would say like, oh, he's showing now he's ableist and misogynist, and somebody was like, it's a joke, get over it. And they're like, usually jokes are funny. That's like what they say, because that's the crime he's committing, is not being funny. That's why we need to write into Netflix and say, this guy really hurt my feelings because he's not funny. Like I'm shaking and can't sleep at night because he's not funny. Yeah.
That's a big cope. And I don't know this. I'm just gleaning this particular case from what you're saying, but it's so funny that there's always that like really popular comedian that isn't really in with the other comedians for whatever reason, and then always gets into some weird trouble because he's supposed to be the guy or she's supposed to be the girl, the person who's in the kind of in that mainstream. It just doesn't work. That's why comedy's hard.
We're going to get you right back to the episode, but I just wanted to let you guys know of a few other things we offer at Rare Candy Industries. We have a Substack with free and paid subscription options. Free subscribers get access to all written content. That includes Bob's Red Pill. That's the best thing going on the internet right now. Trust me. Paid subscribers get full access to our premium episode feed. And that's just every episode we don't necessarily want to share with the general public, if you know what I'm saying. Again, that's rarecandy.substack.com. We also have merch. That link's a little long for me to say right now, but go to the description, go to our merch store, and find a shirt that's right for you. We have Rare Candy shirts, Dr. Bronner soap label shirts, Reishi mushroom shirts, all types of stuff there. Check it out. There's got to be something for you. And lastly, check us out on social media. On Instagram, we're Rare Candy Pod, but on Twitter, we're at Rare Candy Pod 1. All right, enough of that. Let's get you back into the episode.
Yeah, no, this guy is like, it's like, it makes me support the people, it makes you like want to support somebody that like, I don't know, none of these guys' jokes were like hitting to me. Like I'm kind of black pilled on stand-up comedy to be honest. Like
look what happened to Burr. It's no one's to be, you can't put your faith in anyone, you can't put,
I also just don't,
I
also just don't think there's a lot of room for like a genuine, like, I just think the joke, the art, like how you hear like the Rogan like stand-up type nerds that are like, oh, and here's why the joke's funny, and they Alton Brown like do an Alton Brown breakdown of like a joke,
like a science,
and it's
science.
like that's never resonated to me, or like people that overly explain like why a joke is funny. It's like, no, it's funny because I laughed. Like it's very much a reaction based thing, and I think now people really want conversational humor. I think people like clips, like small clips of something funny happening or whatever. Like just that seems to
like
be
a Rare Candy podcast, if you will. Just something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Scanner Darkly clip from last week did well. It did well. It performed well. I'm sure there are people that did not press play on the episode and that were like, wow, that was kind of funny, or cool and looked cool and stuff. So exactly, like you have that. But yeah, it's just the crime of not being funny. It's like that happens to everybody. It's like, I'm going to find out where this guy works because he went viral with a post that normally I wouldn't have seen because I don't follow this guy. But it was so not funny. I want to find out where he works, where he lives, and alert everybody about how not funny he is.
And all those people like the most dog shit stand-up comedy, dude. That's the funny,
it's like, it's just the non-binary overall girl whispering about like sex that she read on Reddit,
dude. It's bad, and I do, man. That I'm not saying there are no good like YouTube shorts of stand-up comedians or whatever, but that genre of like the millennial Zoomer like stand-up, it looks like like ice cream shirt genre, kind of ice cream cone shirt. It's rough, dude. It's so fucking funny.
Even when they're like kind of, you're like, you were almost there, but it's the fact that you didn't get there. It's so bad, and I feel bad because like I used to just put on Comedy Central presents Premium Blend, all these things when I was like young in 7th grade. Dane Cook, remember the Dane Cook album?
Dude, that was like an electric time for when in high school and everyone's listening to that shit.
Oh my
All the girls
God.
loved it.
Harmful If Swallowed, I want to say was the album that was called
BK Lounge.
And then he had the movie where he worked in the restaurant come out around like the similar time, Waiting. Oh
Waiting.
God.
Yeah.
So good. I mean, that might have been the last. The only people that are popular now are like the fluffies, the Gabriel Iglesias and like Kevin Hart, but they've been around. Those guys have been around since like 2003, and they're just now popping. They're like novelists, where like they don't hit their big one until their 40s or whatever.
Yeah, Kevin Hart was friends with Patrice O'Neal.
It's like crazy. Kevin Hart's been around forever.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's been around for. He was in the 40-Year-Old Virgin, dude. Like, he was just It was like he's been around forever. But yeah, it's just that art is just dead. And I'm not just saying that because we do this, but like, and
the best stand-ups do something else. They do a show.
They always have something else,
and it's hilarious, dude. Like Shane Gillis is so
It's way funnier than their stand. I love those guys,
so
Gillis and
funny.
McCusker. Their stand-up is good. I will laugh at their stand-up. Their podcast is like side-splittingly funny, dude, because
hilarious. Dude.
They're free. It's completely freestyle. It's like hearing your favorite guitarist. Yeah, it's cool to hear them play inside a song structure, but if your favorite guitarist can just
noodle
jam
around,
and jam, and then a bass player finds a little groove within there, it's like, wow, this is amazing. Like, it's a jam session. Yeah, after a while, you want to hear, okay, talk about something. Okay, now do this. But the first, like, it's just, I don't know. The minute it becomes like I just fear that stand-up might be kind of dead. Like, or at least, there's at least, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to declare something dead. I don't want it to be dead, but I think it is.
It's definitely, it's a thing where even again, it's projecting your thoughts. Even like based, weathered people don't want to catch that smoke. It's like, it's high risk reward. Obviously when you nail it, it's fucking incredible. But it's just soft. It's just a soft ass time right now for that stuff. I'm not even talking like politically or whatever, like PC, but just I don't know, something's off about it.
No,
we need something. Yeah, we need a revival.
And like I said, perhaps it just has moved formats. Perhaps podcasting is stand up now, because comedy podcasts are like the number one, more than sports, more than anything. Comedy is the number one thing. And like, maybe that's a broad umbrella term, because some of the comedy podcasts are just like a guy owning like 6 OnlyFans robot girls. Like, it's like, oh yeah, can you spell that? Like to a girl, and it's like, that's comedy, I guess, which I laugh. But even though those things look super AI generated when you see the clips of it's like, doesn't look real. But we have a mailbag episode today. I'm excited.
Always so good. Yeah,
I think we have 8 voicemails, and then a couple emails.
That's a record.
2 State of Fear related questions. So
we knew they were coming.
Yeah, no, because there's meat still left on the bone. I literally want to cover it again, like 3 more times. Like,
that's the sign. That's a sign of a good Gain of Fiction or music episode, when you're at work like a week and a half later, and you're just like, "Fuck, I forgot about that one thing." That happened to be both those examples.
No, I mean, story of my life. Yeah, I mean, you leave meat on the bone, that's fine, And so I am going to start us off with the first voicemail, and look, if you said your name on there, it's on there. I'm not going to say people's names just because you never know.
Are they all voicemail, or do we have some
we have emails, and then one from our very first listener. We have a question from Instagram from our very first listener. You know who he is. You've hung out with him. Yes. He hit me up on IG. He gets preferential treatment. He didn't have to follow like where to send that stuff. Literally the first guy to ever listen. So all right, let's get into it, and here we go.
Hey, Rare Candy. Long time listener, first time caller. Just wondering what your guys' current mushroom stack is. I've got into Reishi and lion's mane, and it's been great so far, but I'm looking to add a couple, so I'm wondering what you guys are taking these days. Thanks.
Well,
great question. First of all, I love our East Bay ass area code. That's so raw. The Google Voice, dude. Good call.
I
It
know.
had to be that.
510, good old
Yeah.
510. Yeah. By the way, guys.
there.
The voicemail line. Let me make sure I have the number. You guys can call that anytime. If it's not, just leave a voicemail. Like we'll fit it into an episode.
Dude.
Like
Check in.
just check in. Like it's like it's open lines. The number is 510-256-9850. 510-256-9850.
Fucking love it.
And that takes me back to my college radio days.
Yeah.
Or email rarecandyindustries@gmail.com if you're not into the whole, speak, hear my voice, whatever. Either one, just email there while we have, the audience that we have, and it's easier to sift through these things. I have no problem with just go ahead. Like, I like it. I like if you hear something on the show and you're just like, damn, they stopped talking about that and I wanted to hear more, ask about it. Like, it's a good way to do it. It's just because we move on to something else doesn't always mean like we said, we leave meat on the bone a lot. So
especially now at this point in our careers when you could still, this thing could blow 100x and we might not be able to take voicemails like this all the time. Just saying, like
it'll be the most bureaucratic American Idol ass screening hotline ever.
X10101.
Yeah. You will not get through.
Nope.
So strike while it's hot. So your mushroom stack, please, or supplement. I'm sure people want to know supplements to any kind of stuff like that.
Well, first of all, I'm glad this question got asked because and it's an honor to be able to just not even like make a recommendation, just to be able to be promoting this and having like these waves, these ripples going out, because this shit is life changing. It is. They got their own consciousness, and they're. It's like cats, like that mind virus gets inside of us, and we're like, oh, cats are great, where they're. It's what I mean, like not for you, for some of us, but I really think these shits are controlling our brains in like in a beneficial way though. But yeah, lion's mane and reishi. So my whole thing, I'm always on the hunt for the best reishi I can find, which produces a Shen effect, a peaceful, calm, noticeably that Zen effect that hits you right between your eyes, right in your third eye. And it's hard because a lot of times one brand will be good for a while, then it won't. It's kind of like a little tricky. It's almost like it's kind of elusive, I will say if you're a baller, if you're one of our listeners that money is not a factor, Shen Blossom.
Peter Thiel is one of them.
Peter Thiel, Shen Blossom brand. So they do this freeze dried Shazandra berry, which I thought that's all they did for a while, and then that's really good. It's bright red. It's grown in America, in Maine.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen King, shout out.
He needs some.
He does. Yeah, he needs it bad. But I didn't realize they have this whole wide range of these like crazy Reishi products, but they're like upwards of $140 a bottle and stuff, so it's some real, but it's the real deal. That being said, I'm rocking right now Dragon Herbs Wild Red Reishi Tincture. I think you can get it on Amazon Prime. It's not the cheapest, but it's definitely affordable. That's a good one. That one gives me the real Shen feeling. Lion's mane, I've actually been doing whole lion's mane powder, no extracts or anything. Actually, Grocery Outlet sells those Cherie, those white bag, like 6 ounces for pretty cheap, and I think they are log grown. They're the real deal. That's good. And I've been doing a lot of shiitake because the winter. I always up the shiitake in the winter, either just usually culinarily, like miso soup and stuff, or shiitake powder is good, and pasta sauces make like a cream sauce, like a kind of a creamy thing, really earthy. That's good. And also I want to get into making my own tempeh, which is mycelium. And really I've red pilled on ergothioneine, which is something in all sorts of mushrooms. But especially mycelium, like tempeh, and oyster mushrooms are really strong in it. And ergothioneine is just something that combats aging like crazy. And it used to be where organic food could get it through fungus in the roots, but now our soils are so depleted and whack. And if you're not living in a paradise, so you can get it directly from fungal sources, and it's just an extreme anti-aging molecule that's just completely safe and beneficial. And It's one of the reasons why mushrooms are so good for you and your brain. And I've been so that just way more culinary shrooms, like way a bigger percentage of my diet, and just really really been getting into cordyceps too, and like a good cordyceps fruiting body extract is just so good for your lungs, especially through the winter. It's just good stuff, man. I highly recommend that. I do want to be I want to start pushing the limits and mega dosing that. So that anyway, that's my answer on that. Yeah, cordyceps.
Wonderful. Yeah. So I'm on lion's mane extract, all from Shaman Shack herbs right now. I did just get Romania Dean Thomas's the super tonic herbs, Spirituino. It has not come in yet. That's like his kind of coffee substitute. Supposedly doesn't fry your adrenals. That's got all types of good stuff in there. His emails have been hitting lately.
Dude, he was like, "Yo, I'm him." In that last email, he's like,
"He did say I'm him." He said, "I'm
I started this shit."
Yeah, he said, "I'm Himothy." Yes, I am.
Himothy Chalamet.
Yeah, exactly. And he did say, he's like, "Yeah, by the way, I started this and invented it back in the day, but I'm doing it again now." Yeah. And so I did do that, but for now, right now, I usually do about a 2 or 3 week of just like one extract at night in tea. So I'm doing Reishi right now in the Harry Potter Dumbledore mug right now. Does it help? Who knows? Is it placebo? I am perhaps, but I am the placebo. So we will do that. We will review that book at some point. And and the Dumbledore quote, in case you guys didn't know, is happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light.
Whoa.
So that's Albus Dumbledore. It's a real guy. And so doing some Reishi right now. I just do whatever I do a little bit more than what they tell you to do on the thing, just because that's for beginners and pussies. And
power user too, dude.
Right. Yeah, I know. I've been doing this shit. I'm at least a year or so in of just hardcore adaptogens. So then I do lion's mane as well. I'll probably start that again next week. And then I also got this one from Shaman Shack Herbs that is called the 3 Immortals. And that one looks sick. It's Ormus, Shilajit, and Reishi. And they even say you can give it to your dog. I actually kind of want to give it to my dog, but I don't know if that's going to go over well with the other person I live with. No, but
by the way, I just want to clarify that Shen Blossom shit. Sorry to cut you off, but I actually haven't tried. I've only tried their Shazandra. I have not gotten the $140 Reishi yet. Maybe in a little bit, maybe a couple months time, I'll spring for that. But I trust it, and I trust that guy to do it. So just wanted to clarify that. Just so I don't put on an endorsement on anything. But yeah, check it out. Just if you got like if you're one of those people that gets fired from your job and says, "Oh no, what am I gonna do?" But you have $500K saving to the bank that we were making fun of last couple episodes. You know? Cop that right now for sure. Just cop and let me know what you think. Yeah. Anyway.
Right. Okay. So there's that. I hope that answers everybody's question. Here's another supplement kind of question, and it says, I think somebody asked this on another mailbag, but it's fine. I have not taken this at all. I think I've only heard good things, but it says, hey guys, I know you probably get asked this a lot. If you guys use magnesium, what kind / brand do you guys use? I don't use it. So
I think the safe bet is magnesium glycinate or magnesium bi.
Is there a brand? Is that a brand though? I think he's asking for like, what do I put
no,
into Amazon?
It's just just type that in. I mean, there's so many places that capsule it.
Is there a thing you should look for to be like, well, that's not good shit, or
that one's pretty standard. You just don't want a lot of excipients like magnesium stearate and shit. Just get something in like a capsule that you like with just the magnesium powder. It's just magnesium attached to a glycine amino acid, so it's absorbable. Glycine's good too, especially for sleep, and it's just highly absorbable and it won't make you shit your pants and stuff like that, and so that's good. But there's all sorts of magnesiums you can play around with. I mean, my whole thing, you can buy capsules if money's not a problem. But I mean, if you're at home watching like Netflix shows at night, just get the bulk powder and get a bowl and just make a bunch of capsules yourself. In 30-40 minutes, you could make a month's worth of capsules just for one night, chilling, sitting there for a show, doing that. and then you could buy like a year's worth of magnesium for maybe like 20-40 bucks or something, just the bulk powder. And then you can get into playing around. There are magnesium products that are popular now where they just combine, they have like 7 different forms of them, magnesium glycinate, magnesium threonate, magnesium citrate, and they all do slightly different things. Some are good for anxiety, some are good for that. But I think glycinate, just do maybe a gram or 2 of that a day, a couple capsules worth. And that'll just cover your bases, slowly start to build up your reserves. And you'll be good.
All right. Okay. Next up, we got one more we got a few more voicemails. And this one is, let's see, which one do we want to go to? Oh, from our good friend, Kelby Losack.
Yeah.
Hi, what up, RC fam? So I got we share a lot of similar rap tastes and everything, and it ain't gotta be rap, but I was wondering if both of y'all got an album like this, right? So I have A$AP Rocky's Long Live A$AP is the greatest album in the world to me because of the time and place, the shit that I was into at the time that shit dropped. I was bumping it back to back, and a lot of big, like, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. Like, it was just a hard ass time, and like I shed a tear per track when I listened to that album. So like, I was wondering if y'all got albums like that. It's not like, this is a classic, this is a masterpiece, whatever, but just like when it comes on, you just go real quiet and just shrink back into yourself and be like, damn.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, for me, yeah, absolutely. That I will say, that album, I don't get emotional when I hear it, but I was working college radio when that album came out.
That's right.
And I was like, for a while, A$AP Rock was a bit completely different guy, completely different sound. But I was like, A$AP Rocky, I was like, that's weird. His name's like almost the same thing. But then there were a bunch. He had a crew where they were like, now that's real popular. Now you'll hear like FYG, whatever, like FAG, FAG Smelly. And
that's my album right there. That one right there. Yeah, that's my fucking.
Mine's Black Bower. Yours is FAG Smelly. No, but you'll have there's a lot of that. But at the time, I was like, there's A$AP Yams, rest in peace. There's A$AP 12E, A$AP Ferg, who was awesome, and then like that was an awesome album. Peso. All the Clams Casino songs, like I'm forgetting what the third one, Bass. Oh God, what an amazing song. A$AP Rocky. Those were great. For me, I'll look, we covered it 2 weeks ago. All Things Must Pass. That's my all-time emotion album. It's unbelievable. I think there's also, with classic rock, it's stuff that I listen to with my parents, powerful nostalgia music, like all the Zeppelin stuff immediately takes me to stuff with my dad. Tom Petty takes me to hanging out with my mom, and all that stuff. But current stuff, right? Stuff that happened in 2010's when I was, ripping and running and doing all, fun stuff, staying out hella late, going to a rap show every weekend, being a part of the local scene, hearing this, in my opinion, the last era of like really good new rap. And for me, Control System by Absol, that was like, whoa, that one just like, that floored me. It floored me. It was really good. It was emotional. The Book of Soul is a very emotional song on that album, very jazzy and good. And then also he has like really, Druggies with Hoes, like all these great songs on Bohemian Grove. I mean, that album, I can put it on right now, and it takes me right back to a time in my life where I wasn't living right, but I kind of was like, damn, that was sick. That was sick. That was tight. Friends that I don't like anymore, but also like the fun times with those friends.
Yeah.
And then my last one, and I still listen to this around the clock all the time. It's my 5 hours of sleep, but it's time to go to work. Drive on my 20-minute drive to work. Nipsey Hussle's Crenshaw, especially now that he passed, I get really emotional because I met him a couple times and talked with him. I've emailed him once and talked to them, and he was so cool. He really was becoming a West Coast Jay-Z. especially even
Yeah,
his last
damn.
song, the song with Roddy Ricch, the one that came out, Racks in the Middle, like he was starting to become like a mega star. And then, but yeah, Crenshaw, I mean, that's got Kelby's Boy Zero on it, which is probably my favorite song on that album. And yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I'd say the old school one for me was definitely brings me back to the time of my life when I discovered it, when shit was not going well, and it just really just kind of gave me a new perspective. Is Marvin Gaye's "In Our Lifetime"
Oh
album,
yeah.
which is just damn. If you haven't listened to that one and you're a fan, yeah, definitely check that
If
out.
you let me,
Yeah, it's fucking.
yeah.
It's so good. He's just like, he's like in his prophet mode in that stage.
He's very
of his
good.
threat, you know.
Excellent album.
And then rap, I think like the old school rap one that I really love is, and I know you do too, is Far Side, Lab Cabin, California.
Masterpiece. It's
Yeah.
better. It's better than what's the other big Far Side one before that with Pass Anybody? It's better.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. It's like two
forget.
different groups, dude. Yeah. What's
It
that?
is. Oh God, what? I don't
Is
even.
it just Bizarre Ride to the Far Side? Right?
Bizarre Ride, yeah. Then not to say that's a bad album, but that's the one that gets all the like, you know, it's on Rolling Stone, you know, top 100 rap albums. But Lab Cabin California, I mean, the videos on that, the music. I just remember going on music, me and you just like stoned, like comically stoned on like your mom's like weird edible concoctions and like watching the drop video. Running, finding the original sample to Run In like on a record, and then like hearing that is like it was such a crazy like marriage to the song you almost form. She Said, oh God, I can go on for a day. Bullshit, the first song. Oh
yeah. Oh,
God.
I got one more. This one's a unique one. Another man that just floored me. Kind of in that same vein, honestly, and different because it's not really a rap album, although there are a few raps, some tracks on it. But Pete's Instrumentals, Pete Rock, the first one.
Yes,
dude, that shit. First of all, I was definitely smoking like a lot. I would just get fucking like isolated, stoned, and just bump that. There's some serious beats on that album, and I'm just a huge fan of Pete Rock. That's my flex. I met him once. He was really cool. Actually got to eat with him. It was pretty funny, randomly. And he's hilarious. Actually, that's kind of a funny story because I was part of this group. One of my friend was like, "Yeah, we're throwing this event," like, and he knew I loved him, and he's like, and this guy wasn't a Pete Rock fan, but he's like, "Yeah, we can get, if you want to come through. You might be able to eat with them, blah blah blah." And so I show up to this thing, and it's like this student function thing, and then there's this random like dog shit stand-up comedian. Like, this is way back in the day, but and I remember, I think he was trying to be funny, but I was like, "Yeah, I'm here for Pete Rock," and he was like, "Oh, I'm a stand-up comedian," and he's just trying to be funny, and he's like, "Dude, who the fuck is Pete Rock? No one knows who that is, dude. No one's gonna show up to this thing." And I was just kind of weird because I was such a super fan. I'm like, "Dude, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, who are you? No one knows." And then so his thing, like two people showed up, and he was just all like, and then Pete Rock came for the main event, and there was like 150 people there, dude, and like for a Q&A, just like in this tight room. So I remember that. I was like, "Who are you, dude?" Yeah, I just stuck in my young person's brain where I was just like, it's like, fuck this dude.
I was laughing too. When I was probably my last year or so in college radio, and 2 years, it's what we do now, but I was tasked with interviewing people, but I didn't have the connections. I had this friend. He's another one of those guys where I was like, it was my friend at the time, but like then I realized like every relationship we had involved like, do you have weed? If not, we'll hang out tomorrow when you have weed. Kind of one of those people, and or just what can you like? It was a very transactional kind of friendship, but I do have funny memories. And he was one of those guys like he thought everybody was his friend. He met Kendrick Lamar one time, like back when Kendrick was first blowing up. I was there too. I said what's up to him, and like I was like. It was when Lookout for Detox came out, like before he even had Section 80 out and everything. He was starting to blow up, and then he would always just say like, "My bro Kendrick," like on Facebook. He'd be like, "My bro Kendrick," like a new single from my bro. He would like acting like he was promoting Kendrick Lamar's single to like 37 people. Like he would be like, "My bro Kendrick got this new song." You know, it was so cringe. But this guy, he was a Persian guy. My friend, he was a Persian guy, and he had like very South Park silk shirts. I think you met him once.
Maybe.
I thought we went
can't
to a
think of
show.
it.
I thought we went to a show one time or something like
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
maybe like in Santa Cruz or something. I
Yeah.
thought
Oh, yeah,
for a fact. I thought, but whatever. Hazy nights, very hazy nights.
Yeah.
And we had a chance to meet this new rapper and interview him on camera. Now, I was pissed off at him because 3 weeks prior I interviewed Currency, and the
I was there
audio
for that. I remember.
Okay,
that.
so you were.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so you can
Yep.
vouch for this because it never
Yeah.
came out. And that was at the Avalon. It never came out because the audio was unusable. We were in the most like crowded room in the world, and people were like banging into shit. And then Currency was like, I was wearing a Darren McFadden Raiders jersey. And he was like, yo, do they still got the Bo Jackson and the and he has this like funny voice, the Bo Jackson in the whites, like that. I used to be sick in that. And we were just talking about like throwback jerseys. So like we didn't even talk about his records because he clearly didn't want to, because he's probably done a million interviews. So I was pissed that didn't come out because I actually really liked that conversation. I'm like, can I just have it like and use it for my own? And then all of a sudden we go to 3 weeks later, there's a guy coming to the same venue. His name's Freddie Gibbs. And like he had just come off a single with Currency called Scottie Pippins, which was the sickest Freddie verse ever, still to this day. Amazing verse. Like one of those like last verses where I was like, whoa, where I heard something. And Freddie was like hood, you know what I mean? Like he was kind of like tough, like not a very big guy, hilarious guy, but like almost like I don't really want to like double cross this dude or like say the wrong thing. So naturally my Persian friend, Bay Area Persian guy, drops an N-bomb every 5 words. And it's just like, and Freddie's kind of like, you know, he's like cool, but he's like also kind of like Malcolm X-y and stuff like that, where he's like, I don't really want to like hear that right now. I don't even, you know, and like, and he was like, you know, my friend was just like every other word, like using that. And the guy was like, he was just not taking any social cue. Like Freddie was looking at him like every word, like, do I have to check this guy? Because it was comical. It was, he wouldn't have cared if he said it like a couple times. It was comical. It sounded weird. It stuck out in a way that it wouldn't stick out when anyone else said it. And
for people don't realize, in the Bay you could kind of get away with it if you were like you know, Mexican or Persian.
Oh, Vietnamese guys would do it. It was definitely a thing. Like it's just with him, like it was like as though he was contractually obligated to say it every 5th word as a Persian guy. Like,
like not just once, not like a Max Cardi slip up, dude.
Right. They say bro every 4th word. So it's like you really have knocked down, you know, most of the sentences, those 2 words. And so that was hysterical. Like
that's so funny.
Different time. Feels like a century ago.
I know.
Anyways, last one before that. Last one. The album neither of us brought up, but I would say for both of us, that was a very amazing album. Special Herbs and Spices, Volume 1. MF
Dude, that was like our
I remember when you drove over a center median because we were so high going to like Shell gas station. Like one of those ones where you like you can't pass through. You can't. It's a street we knew like the back of our fucking hand too. Like it was not. This was not foreign land.
It was like growing up turf, dude. Like,
it was like 20 steps from your house, and like you just like cut across the center way, which you would if it was like a double yellow. But it was a fat ass fucking medium. Goes, and luckily you had the Explorer, and it was GG. But it was like I was just laughing because think about the guy in the Shell gas station. Like here we go, like seeing that happen from outside. It's like my sour Skittles are gonna be gone in a second. And so that was very fun.
We had a whole routine for a couple months there of like orange Fanta at Jack in the Box, chicken tenders, which we lovingly referred to as chicken tundras. I don't know why that was.
Because you're stoned and no one cares. Like you're just like it's like you tell somebody that they're like, why? You're like, well, you weren't there, you know. Like
those were fire too, piping hot. They just fucking
I know, comical. Comical. So
Red 40 is such a great track.
Sumac berries. I mean, the original, what was it, the Sade, the Doomsday one that he used for that is kind of, I forget which one that is. Fenugreek. I mean, like all of those. Like that ended up being the Ghostface album. I remember the 9 Milli Bros song. That was amazing. And that was just instrumental. But I just remember thinking like, wow, this was like you could just like kind of just find cool breaks and just show them to people.
Yeah.
and if you found the sickest one, it didn't need anything else. So it was very, very influential in
Revolutionary.
that one. So all right, here's another email. I want to get all the email ones out of the way here. Glen and Psi. I have been following the pod since the height of COVID, and the Gain of Fiction series has helped me get back into reading. My question is about State of Fear and a conspiracy theory regarding Hurricane Katrina. This is what I forgot to mention on State of Fear. I'm so glad they asked this. I was old enough then to perceive how hard the climate change angle of Hurricane Katrina and Rita was pushed at the time. Climate researcher Judith Curry famously published a scientific study claiming that hurricanes had been increasing with the warming trend. She later retracted the study due to faulty data and has become a climate realist a la Michael Crichton.
Yeah.
My question is whether you guys were aware of the notion held among poor Black residents of the flooded portions of New Orleans that the levees had been bombed and did not fail due to flooding. There is historical precedent. Apparently, in 1927, levees were blown up in New Orleans to sacrifice low land development. There are debunking articles from time to time. If you search Katrina levees bombed, which that's how you know it's true. State of Fear came out the year prior, exactly, and nearly perfectly foreshadowed the entire saga.
Yeah.
So
let's go.
Shout out Mike. I don't know if I said Mike is very there could be any Mike, so I don't want to I'm not giving away too much info for that. No, I wanted to say that because it was like this book came out right before Hurricane Katrina, and I do remember, I mean, just the whole media, it was a very like proto-COVID like media rampage thing. You had the George Bush doesn't care about Black people, like all this crazy stuff. And I'm in California and it's such a foreign thing, but everywhere. The Saints. I mean, that might have been the fake. Might have been the fakest Super Bowl ever, if you ask me. I mean, there was no, I'm just kidding. That was sick as fuck, that Super Bowl. But I just was like, it was baked into every narrative. I mean, I'm sure it was disastrous. But I would not be surprised if the levees got bombed.
No, I'm with it. Yeah, 100%.
I'm with you.
A quick note on the Judith Curry thing, because actually, even before she was an early one. She's so moderate. Judith Curry is the climate kind of. She's kind of like a lukewarmer, like Crichton, and it's just like whatever, and Crichton cites. I noticed in some of the footnotes, Crichton cites Judith Curry in State of Fear a lot. And and she's just like kind of dropping bomb. I was kind of listening to some of her YouTube videos a long time ago when that was my first kind of baby aspirin red pill for the climate stuff. And and I could just tell that she was just so even keeled and just very like this is what it is. Like, sorry guys, it just is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so shout out Judith Curry. And I don't doubt that. That's all I remember at that time, before I even had the language to describe it or the framework or the orientation. I just remember being like, man, this is all so political and weird. Something's going on here. Something doesn't quite feel right about all this. Yeah, for sure. Great question.
And I'm first off, I'm glad that State of Fear got you back, or not State of Fear, Gain of Fiction got you back into reading. For me, it was one of those things where I wanted to do it every so often. I wanted to just do it to cover Michael Crichton, and then after a while, I'm like, no, actually, this is working out. And the way I work is that I have to have someone expecting something from me to kind of do it,
like
and so it's kind of like I work well within structure, not a scrambler, so I'm a pocket passer. So I'm
5-step drop.
5-step drop. Ball's got to come out on that. It's got to, I'm that guy. So like, to me, it's like, it's helped me. I mean, it's like, it's helped me. And I'm glad other people are deciding like actually reading is cool. You need to kind of humble yourself that you haven't done it in a while, or because of so many things, because of the way society is not wired for people to read. Nowadays it's not really beneficial. However, I do think that it is a leg up if you can sit through and read a novel. You have a leg up on the next man, no matter IQ, no matter any of that shit. So and if you do get into books, Alex Jones actually has been listening to Gain of Fiction. Shout out to Amateur Understanding for sending me this. This is his comments on Gain of Fiction.
Look, he's a fag.
So that's his comment
Shout
there.
out, dude.
Yeah, shout out Alex Jones. I appreciate the kind words,
Yeah.
Alex. Drop the link next time, please, to the
Mhm.
Substack. But that's fine. Come on the pod, more than
Yeah.
welcome. So yeah. Anyways, let's go to the other state of fear question. This one is from Down Under, Australia. By the way, Australia, you guys might listen to the most podcasts ever, because like when we didn't have any listeners, we had a good number of Australian people like still listening. And perhaps it was because of the draconian measures and maybe that you were only allowed to do that or something, because I do picture them, like I said, just in like this like Saw like movie room, shitting in a Home Depot bucket in the corner while like Rare Candy's playing or something. Like, so
That's my next AI art.
It's got to be the Home Depot bucket though. It's got to.
Yeah, I found that because I have like a couple folders, and I pulled that up the other day and was playing around with it. We need to use that for something.
Okay. So this is about a thing that we did cover it a little bit, but I'd like to come back to it regarding state of fear. So here we go.
G'day, Glen and Psi. It's Dennis from Down Under here. So I've just been reading State of Fear and just got up to the bit with Dr. Kenner's DDT red pill. And I'm just wondering, what's the official RC position on DDT? Is it really bad? Like, I always suspected it wasn't bad just because, quote unquote, everyone knows DDT is bad. And there was this video going around in conspiracy circles back when I saw it in the 2010's, where this guy was a DDT red pill guy, and he would always apparently drink a teaspoon of DDT before each presentation. So yeah, what do you guys reckon?
I'm going to pass it to you after I just say this. I tend to still lean on DDT being bad. Now, the government action to ban it by adding whatever the one Crichton said in the book, I forgot, and then switching to glyphosate, which is found in all of our urine now. So I will not say that the ban of DDT was net good, because I don't think it was done with our best interests, sadly. So I will say that. And my knowledge of DDT comes from Suzanne Humphreys in Dissolving Illusion. She lays out pretty clear that was. I gotta be careful. I don't know if YouTube cares about this type of stuff, because I feel like it's not really that prescient. Relevant, but I don't think it's that relevant. But I like there is a somewhat of a correlation to paralysis, which you often hear about with polio, and the fact that we put DDT on literal food and went super bug crazy in the time when polio was super on the rise, right? Like, and so you see our first episode with Ben Braddock, the Medical Red Pill Volume 1, I believe. The cover art of the episode is the guy spraying the kids with the DDT like in the swimming pool or whatever, just like going crazy with it, like fog machines and shit. Like, and so I do think that whatever, that's probably overload, and I think there were some polio cases that could have just been DDT poisoning and paralysis. That is my extent of it. You have a little bit more to say on that.
Yeah, I will say it's tempting to, because I was actually checking out the Wikipedia, and obviously you don't put stock in anything Wikipedia. Obviously, that's square zero.
Especially with that guy, Jimmy. What's his name? Jimmy something. That guy that owns.
Jimmy Wales or whatever.
Yeah, Jimmy Wales.
But no, but I was looking. I was just like, what does Wikipedia have? And they're very consensus-y. DDT is bad, which automatically makes you go, oh, is it good?
I know.
You know what I mean?
Dennis is right. Everyone I hate is telling me it sucks. So I have to at least find some nuance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's a huge politics to, there's fads in chemistry and chemical engineering and shit. And I just refuse to believe. I'm very skeptical of this idea that we need this one molecule to do what we say we need it to do. The main thing that DDT people say is that we need it for places in Africa for malaria and mosquitoes and stuff. And the thing is, I know some integrated pest management scientist guys from back in the day, and they all say the same thing, that like DDT was never, there's this whole narrative that around DDT that DDT promoters say that is false. So What I mean by that is they'll say things like, oh, DDT was saving millions of Africans' lives every year, and then, the Greenpeace types had to come and ban it, and they have blood on their hands and all this stuff. Whenever you hear stuff like that, it's usually kind of propaganda-ish, and so the truth is that DDT was never really banned from Africa, and the mosquitoes do start to develop a tolerance to it, so it loses its efficacy. It's not a long-term solution to the problem. The second thing is there are integrated pest management ways to just nip the problem in the bud to begin with, and then you could treat it on the back end if you do get a case of malaria with hydroxychloroquine and stuff like that. So this idea that this is some feat of chemical engineering and that we need, I'm just very skeptical of that. Is it possible that there is a bunch of bad science around DDT, like there is around like secondhand smoking, like Crichton talks about and stuff like that? For sure. I'm sure there is, and, but I really don't think that an advanced species, an advanced civilization in touch with themselves, healthy, would settle on DDT as a long-term solution. We'd probably evolve past that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And like the whole concept of the book, and if you guys don't know what we're talking about, you're looking through the free episode feed. It's not on there. It's rarecandy.substack.com. Check out Gain of Fiction. It's great. Again, we talk about more than just what happens in a book. It's a very good, it's just it's kind of like a conduit for a good conversation. And the State of Fear episode was good. That's a book that a lot of our audience had read before we read it. And so we do have that. I think that's the 5th Michael Crichton book that we've done a Gain of Fiction episode on. Many more to come. So yeah, no, I mean, there's many more to come. Now, I will say the idea of State of Fear, the thesis of it, even if you don't care about climate change, you find it boring or whatever, non-committal on it. The book is more so taking the latest case, which in 2004, when he wrote the book, the latest case of bad science, creating a fear model around bad science. Because the science is so bad, you need the fear model to push it. So what he does to push it, and to the point where you're just considered a bad person for questioning it, which we see now is basically anything that happens in the world is essentially following that model. Like we look, once you find a couple, it's tougher to research now. I mean, you can find a lot of stuff, but it's tougher to find anything on Google, which stops a lot of boomers, because if it's not on the first page of Google, they assume it's in the Scary Alex Jones section, and they then kind of just we're out of here. It must be real. And so
from the 5 to the 6, we be in the mix with that red candy paint job on the whip. I need food for the kids, money for the rent. Fuck a lockdown, baby, can't do shit.
It's about bad science. So even if the DDT ban or whatever it is, even if, let's say, there could have been a better way to go about it, was the ban ethical? That's what Crichton was going at. Perhaps it wasn't, right? He would beat me in that debate for sure. He would win that debate over me.
It is possible to where you do ban DDT and you fail, you think that'll just solve all the problems, and you fail to address the malaria problem in a more holistic way,
right?
And you do cause deaths because you don't have the political will to complete the circle, kind of thing.
Or what you do is create GMO mosquitoes and go around everywhere, which is just like State of Fear, where basically the science, the numbers weren't adding up to get more funding for these climate places. So what they do is they blow up underneath the ocean, create hurricanes, do all these things, create lightning from the sky with all this technology, and then scare people in these big public places to scare people into believing in climate change. So it's the idea is that you think you have the holiest take in the world. It is absolute dogma, but you're just having a tough time proving it. And we all have those things. We all have those like beliefs in our own, like where I can be like, the Beatles are the best. Don't ever, like just these random things where I'm like, I won't hear anything about it. But like somebody who knows more than you could easily shut you down about, certain music thing. So you do have to kind of like ham it up, get emotional and do all that stuff. But this happens from like this is our tax dollars. This is our money. Like
Yeah.
this is stuff like actually hurts us, you know, in a way,
Yeah.
and sets a horrible precedent to where in 2020 you can shut the world down on bad science. So that's essentially my pitch for the book and our episode. So go check it out on there. There's also that's episode 22 of Gain of Fiction. There's a bunch of other ones, including Kafka's The Trial, a couple Dostoevsky books, including Notes from Underground.
Don't sleep on Gain of Fiction. If you've been listening a
Oh,
while,
it's
dude,
amazing.
People are
Yeah.
people are in on this. They love it.
Michael Crichton's Me Too book, which we did with Jack from TPN.
Dude, yeah.
Disclosure,
Classic,
all-time episode. That's one of the best
Yeah.
RC episodes ever. There's all sorts of stuff. Even if you haven't read the book, I guarantee you'll be entertained, and you might want to read the book. And so it's and a lot of times the books have movies attached to it, so you could at least see the movie and get like a tangential kind of you know a view of what the book's about. So anywho, let's get on to the next one here. This one is from another old guest, Jesse.
Hey dudes, it's Jessie. This question is mostly for Psi. So I want to know when you started to get into RV and just like paranormal and I guess parapsychology shit in general, or like what got you into it. I just always imagine the two of you like growing up, bopping around the bay, like playing sports and smoking weed and listening to Mac Dre, and then somewhere in there, Psi's like low-key training to be a psychic master. So yeah, what's the story? Were you always into it, or what was like the first experience or thing that you encountered where you're like, what, like this shit is for real? Yeah, that's all. I hope you're both doing well. By the way, I love the RV group. It's so fun. I just did some of the sessions for this week, and every time I sit down to do a session, I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. But every time my mind is just blown. Like, not that I nail it. I mean, it's mostly pretty much wild misses, but it's not all misses, you know, and obviously I'm a beginner. It's just a freakish shit. So cool. So anyway, that's all. Have fun with the mailbag. See you guys later.
So before you answer what she's speaking, what she keeps saying, RV, she's talking about remote viewing. Remote viewing, big part of the show. We have episodes dedicated to it on the free feed and everything. So you can go check that out. Deborah, I would say the Deborah Lynn Katz one would probably be the best.
I always forget we did that one. That's one.
No, that's a big episode too. Like people really go back to that one a lot. Like I checked the numbers. I'm like, wow, it's like people are listening. So. But we also have a group in our Discord. I don't just let anybody in there because we've had some people be weird. But hit us up, send an email. You can best way to do that is if you can't DM. I don't let everyone DM, but if you can, DM there. But also email rarecandyindustries@gmail.com. Just let me know like a little thing about yourself or something, so I don't just admit somebody in there. But there is a remote viewing group where you guys are remote viewing the NFL season. Now you might say, "Well, I have no interest in football." Neither does like 80% of the group that does it. That has no interest in football whatsoever. And then you get to Psi will explain it. There's instructions. There's messages that are pinned on that channel in our Discord, and there's a million other things going on in our Discord too. It's great. Yeah. So hit us up. But anyways, to answer her question, go ahead.
I'm so glad. Thank you, Jesse. I'm so glad we got a remote viewing question because
also she's on the Substack too. Great episode with her.
Yep.
PKD. We covered. It's not an official Gain of Fiction, but we covered some PKD short stories with her, which was great. Yep. So
I love that one. Yeah,
check out her apothecary as well. She has an apothecary that's wonderful.
Good stuff. Yeah. I'll give the long answer if that's cool. So fuck it, it's mailbag. You know,
it's mailbag. Yeah.
Well, the short answer you could check. I wrote a piece. How I proved to myself that human beings are psychic. That's like a Bob's Red Pill number 0, you could say. Proto Red. That's before it was an official series, before number 1. That's on our Substack. That's free. Check that out. The short answer is I was living I was living in a tiny house in a driveway in Portland, and my landladies were super cool. My girlfriend and I are still cool with them. They live in Arizona now, but and they were super based on COVID. Like that's how we kind of all bonded. Was I actually showed up in a mask? Because remember, you had to like show up in a mask. I'll admit it, dude. I showed up in a mask to tour like apartments and places. I wanted to move out of my apartment, right? And shit, right when COVID was going on. And I immediately showed up and they're both like, you don't have to wear that fucking mask. I'm like, oh, thank God. And that was just like, the rest is history, you know? And so anyway, her boyfriend, I guess, he was really into some crazy shit. And he was like, yeah, I'll teach you guys how to remote view. It's this whole crazy thing. You can use your psychic powers like in a very rigorous way, blah, blah, blah. And I did it. And same thing, Jesse. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, whatever, I'll just try it, blah, blah. And I had this one direct hit, which was crazy. And that just changed my life and just got me into this. And by the way, Jesse, you had a nailed one the other week where it was the picture was a guy spray painting a giant face, like a realistic face graffiti on a side of a wall.
Floyd,
yeah, exactly. And then her notes were like, is it a face, blah blah blah, and that did correctly pick a win. I forget which team. Was it Jacksonville or something? I don't know. But anyway, I guess the longer answer is, and I got to shout out my co-host Glenn Rockney, because we've been friends forever. But there was a time when I went to the East Coast for school, for college, and I was just so unsatisfied. It was the most normie fucking just dog shit. Like, I was just so craving just something more, and I knew there was more out there. I knew that reality wasn't materialistic. That I knew that there was something going on, that there's something psychic going on. But I was just craving this just the expansion. And so you saw me go through some wild transformations, where I was just trying to figure. So it's kind of I love that it's full circle and we're doing this here and everything. But I had some weird moments. I'd always had stuff growing up from the time I was 4 or 5 years old. I had noticed things and stuff. But then later on, my aunt, who I was really close to, we had a very we were close, but then we had I had this crazy synchronicity with her that I won't get started to explain, but it was just so profound. Like, there's zero chance that this happened by chance. And I was like, okay, there's something to this reality structure. But yeah, but I always, it's not satisfying to just be like, oh yes, psychic stuff is real. You want to experience it. And that's what I love about remote viewing is it's a way to put into practice every day or every week, kind of hone your skills rather than just being some guy that believes it or whatever. Right. Where you're just like, oh yeah, I can actually use it.
Right.
I just had one of my best ones. I've actually been kind of cold this year, where even though we've been running the remote viewing project and we've been doing very, very well. And we found some statistical anomalies if you break down our remote viewing by spreads and by certain, like parameters. By certain parameters, we're hitting 75%, which is insane. Just by raw percentage, we're hitting 58%, which is right in line with the effect, which over the course of hundreds and thousands of trials is a huge effect. 58% correct predictions. But my first early sessions this year, at least, it was very vague. I wasn't really hitting anything. A lot of people in our group were, and we were I'm not betting on this, but we were hitting, and you would be profitable if you were betting on it. But the last couple of weeks, I've been hitting my stride a little bit. My last one, I did a creature in a field, and I drew this thing, and the picture was a puppy in a field. So that was the direct hit, and that did correctly predict one of the games. But yeah, just my landlady's boyfriend got us into remote viewing, and haven't stopped since. Thanks, Jesse.
Bam.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah, Jesse. It's funny because Jesse and Kelby are, I would say, two most talented remote viewers in the group. Kelby will just pop in. He doesn't do it every week. He'll pop in every other week and just fucking nail it. And you're like, dude, who are you, man? It's crazy, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jesse is very consistent. She always does all 6 or 7, which sometimes we need because sometimes people do 3 or 4. So thank you, Jesse. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Again, guys, if you guys want to be in the Discord and participate in this, there's still a few weeks left in the NFL season, but I'm sure you guys can find perhaps other things to during the off season to test this out with. And yeah, so on that note, this is a health related question coming in.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Thomas. I'm the Millennial on Twitter. Big fan of the show. I've gotten a lot of really good stuff from listening to you guys over the past couple of years. So I've got some like immune system issues. I haven't made it a full month without contracting some kind of like respiratory illness in the past year. Like it's been really bad. And I'm just wondering if you guys know of any kind of like, tips about immune health that maybe you're not going to hear from, normie doctors or whatever. And like, hit me with whatever. Like, give me a root to chew on or a fucking crystal to stare at. Like, I'll try whatever at this point.
Let's go.
Thanks a lot, gentlemen. Doing God's work out there. Appreciate it. Hope to hear from you soon.
Well, for me, I think I have a pretty good immune system. I definitely feel when it's lower at times. I mean, it's super diet related for me a lot of times. But it does sound like he has like a little extra something happening that make sure you're sleeping enough. I hate sleeping. I hate it. But you got to do it. You do feel better when you do. God, it pains me to say that, but I would say like just check the food quality. I know that when I eat a lot of dairy, where it's cheese, meat mixed with like some cheese, like milk, ice cream, things like that, mixed with a lot of like carbs, heavy carbs, my sinuses are fucked, and I might as well be sick when that happens. Like my voice is off, I'm sniveling all the time. It's this mucus thing that happens. So I would experiment. I would just be like, okay, let me eliminate this from my diet for a while and see how I feel. Let me add this. I'm sure you probably have a little bit more to say about this than I do, but yeah, go ahead.
No, I love that. Yeah, that's square one. Some people are really sensitive to certain processed foods and stuff, and it's terrain theory. Hello,
Yeah.
Where I will say definitely, baseline is zinc. You got to have zinc, and form of zinc. You can do, zinc glycinate, just like magnesium glycinate's good. Ionic zinc, stuff like that. Try that first. You take it every day or at least 3-4 times a week with a heavy meal, like the biggest meal of the day after, so you don't get a stomach ache and stuff. Vitamin D and vitamin C. My favorite source of vitamin C is amla berry capsules, because it's just got a host of other benefits. It'll keep your bowels moving, all that stuff. We've been doing a lot of that here. We need to capsule some more. Those are the basics, just in case you haven't done that yet. Where I know people will take like all sorts of medicinal mushrooms and shit that are great for your immune system, but they'll be zinc deficient, and that's just like square one. And it's hard to get in food and stuff like that. Or you can do oysters if you like that and all that. And then, limit the processed foods, sleep. Like you said, you can experiment with sleeping grounded. Just get one of those. You can get like a $20 half sheet on Amazon, plug it into the wall, the ground socket to the wall. That will increase your sleep quality, and it'll lower your cortisol and stuff, and definitely boost your immune system. And in terms of herbs, if you're not doing reishi yet, of course, that's probably the number one thing. And also astragalus extract is it's not good for acute stuff, but it will tonify and build up over weeks and months and years. Astragalus is a good, very underrated tonic herb, good for Lyme disease, stuff like that. Really tricky. But, that's kind of the thing, right? Is like you say these things keep happening. And so that's kind of what, it's a chronic thing. That's what Lyme disease is, like a chronic thing, where people have really gotten better by doing the astragalus thing and kind of tonifying that way. And I do have a friend who doesn't live in Portland anymore, but they would always be getting sick all the time, even though they took pretty good care of their health and ate pretty healthy and stuff and cooked a lot of their own foods. And I was just like, just get on the zinc, get on the reishi, do these 3-4 things, and it transformed their life. And that was just my basic advice, so definitely do that stuff first. Shout out.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening. Yeah,
absolutely. Perfect. Okay. Next one that comes up. This one is a from a guy by the name of Stained Haynes. Big Twitter user and everything. I see him on the TL from time to time. Shout out to him. And he's got a kind of a hypothetical question. I actually like this, and I have a question to tack on to it. I think it's good. I like these hypotheticals.
Yeah.
Fellas, it's Stained Haynes. I hope this finds you well. And I got a question. If two people you absolutely hated got into a long, drawn-out fight to the death, would you be crestfallen that one of them won, or happy that one of them lost?
I will say, man, if I saw, okay, so let's set up. Who would it be? Gates, obviously one of them, right? It'd be Gates, and then like Soros, right? Let's just say that something that everybody, the names that everyone knows. Most of our audience probably shares the same distaste for both of those guys. Let's say they both go.
Yeah.
And let's say probably Bill Gates kicks his ass just because of age, and Soros would just slither on the floor and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's just say that Gates wins. I'm not gonna lie, just the sports guy in me, I'd have just the slight 0.2002% respect for Gates for like handling business. Like you won.
Yeah.
You know what I memean? Like I just like you won. Like it's like old time thing. Like we dueled. You dueled Barry Lyndon style. Like you dueled in the thing, and I'm like you went after it. Now I wouldn't like him anymore, but then for sure. Hey man, you took out one of the guys. I mean, like now he Gates takes out Soros. I think Gates just takes everything that Soros owns and probably executes the same stuff. They're probably boys. So that would be scary, but at the time I'd be like, yo, that was crazy, and I'm probably gambling on it. Did Gates cover? Did the over under hit? Like 100%. there are things, like there are certain elements, like great fighters, great players win, elite players cover.
Okay?
Cover the
100%.
spread. What would you say?
I think, I don't know if there's much I could add on to that. I agree with that 100%.
Well, sorry.
Go ahead. What's your tack on? I want to hear it. Yeah, I can't.
So it's kind of different, but it's a similar vein, because I was thinking about this the other day. How would you interpret this?
Yeah,
this hasn't happened to me, but like I've seen, I've just heard certain things and read certain things in books of like things happening to characters. Let's say you have a bunch of near misses, right? Like a near miss. Let's say a car almost hits you, something almost falls, like a branch falls right next to you. And let's say that everybody at a place gets sick except for you, and you make it through. Like all these things happen. Do you interpret that as constantly being around danger or being lucky? Like, is it a sign that you need to get out of somewhere, or do you like, no, you're alpha as fuck and you're just handling business? How do you take that?
Both. I think it's like, if you get a lot of near misses, it's kind of like, all right, my protection is working, my talismans are functioning, but also I don't want to rely on that. I don't know if that's a cop-out answer. Yeah, to clean up your act. Kind of thing.
Yeah, because like, or do you go buy a lottery ticket? Like, do you go gamble? Like, because that's what I wonder.
Always,
are you lucky?
No. Always,
or are you being warned? Yeah. That's what I wonder. Like, because it's tough to say. Because do you believe in destiny, where it's like you're not going to die? That's not the way I had you die. That branch is going to fall next to you. Yeah. Or do you believe that every action that you do can then steer it in the other direction? Kind of a final destination-y kind of question, I guess. But I was just wondering. That's
a great question. Sort of love that guy's voice too.
Oh yeah, no. He's been on the car crash. He's out there, man. Yeah. I've never. He's never been. I don't think him and I have ever spoken. But yeah, I was just. I think he asked the hypothetical, and I liked it. So let's get to the next one. College football. Sure, why not? We got a question. This is from Ace. Everybody in the Discord, Ace is a legend in the Discord. Dukes or death in there. And he is unfortunately asking this question from a maximum security prison. That's why the audio is so bad. Sorry, free Ace.
Yeah. It's your boy Ace Lahooyan coming at you. Very rainy outside. But That was a mailbag episode. My question to you guys is, do you think this is the last great college football season possibly this year? Between all the conference realignments and a lot of California teams going to be playing with the big beefy corn-fed boys in the Midwest and the Big Ten, and the ever-changing talk of the expansion of the college football playoff. Is this the last good year of college football, quite possibly?
So,
yeah.
Basically, if you guys couldn't hear that, he's saying right now college football, there's a huge realignment, right? So let's say it like this: college football, there's some. If you guys don't know anything about college football, if you think it's the same as like the NFL or whatever, it's definitely not. And college football is a local thing. You can disappear into a conference and never go outside of it. Like if you're from the South, SEC football, you could just live in SEC football land. You can you go to events, even if you don't love the game. Like there's always festive events. It seems I get really jealous. I would love to do an RC SEC tour one day and go to like 3 or 4 stadiums, say what's up to some mutuals in the South. Would love to do that sometime. Maybe even look, doesn't have to be SEC. It can be West Virginia, all these other places. But right now, those conferences are all consolidating into the big conferences, right? So picture it as like globalization of college football, right? Globalized instead of a localized part of it. So that part is a little bit scary. The fact that, USC and geographically it's really weird. It was kind of weird to begin with, but like you're going to have Cal and Stanford playing in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Like that's odd. You're going to have people playing in like the Big Ten. But Ace, I ask you this: what could be cooler than Lincoln Riley led USC losing 10-9 against Iowa? What could be cooler?
That's great.
That could be fun. That could be some fun multiculturalism happening where it's like it's still because I think the people moving in are going to have a tough time adjusting, but I don't think that the Big Ten guys that are welcoming in Pac-12 players who Pac-12 look, they're having a hell of a season. This is the best Pac-12 season of my lifetime.
It's kind of ironic, right?
Yeah. It's kind of it's not even close. So and I do think with the NIL and transfer portal, college is becoming a pro sport, which I was a little scared of, but I think the transfer portal is working really well. You're getting guys who weren't starting at their own universities, perhaps by year 3 or year 4, and then they're like, oh crap, like I'm never going to see the field at Alabama. I'm going to go transfer to Texas Tech, or something.
Mexico State,
and then we see we see more good talent elsewhere. It does break up some of the big giants, to where actually, if somebody knows they can be the big dog at another school, the transfer portal really does help. And I think that's going to help in this. There are pros to this. And also the college football playoff only having 4 teams really sucks because bowl season sucks now, essentially, like exterior bowl season. So you will, like the Midas or Meineke Car Bowl or whatever, like those things don't mean anything. They were already not great to begin with, but like the Gator Bowl, like any non-college football playoff, there's only 4 teams for that. So we were watching hundreds and hundreds of teams play for 4 teams to happen. So what I think they're going to move to, and it does seem that it's going to expand, I believe, to 12 teams, if I'm not mistaken, or I can't remember what the final number is going to be, but it's going to be more. That means more teams are in it till the end. You see better games. And eventually, I think they're going to get to like 16 and create somewhat of an NCAA tournament kind of thing. Because essentially what you've done is you've basically said, look, we don't want the computer picking BCS national champions anymore. We want a tournament. That's what everybody wants. The players can make money now in college. So it's not this exploited epic Marxist takedown of college football. So therefore the players can make money there, can make money off their name, image, and licensing and all that stuff. So it's ethical as well. And I actually am not black-pilled on college football because I'm an NFL fan. So if it's becoming the NFL, the reason I love college football is to watch the next great NFL player. But I do love college on its own too. So if you are that like localist fan, that's over. But it kind of has been over ever since like social media and like Reddit and all that stuff. Like it was, you saw where the slippery slope was. So I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm a Cal fan, and I haven't been keeping tabs with them, horribly accurately over the years.
They just won the big game. They just won the big game.
They did. Yeah. And is that still going? That's still going to happen, right? Big game.
Well, I think they're transferring. Aren't they going to the same conference? So it should. Yeah. I mean, either way, you still have your out of conference opponents. So,
so
like
the ACC thing, I'm like, yeah, let's shake it up. Let's see what happens. I do think that, I mean, the USC thing is funny. They're just garbage school. Lincoln Riley's
trash
coach.
Trash.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you can't run a college program like that. Anyway, but so yeah, I think I think it's becoming more. It's like when the internet first hit, you could talk to someone, like across the country or something. I feel like that's kind of happening, and it's kind of becoming globalized in some way, or networked in a different way. Geography doesn't matter as much. But yeah, I do think there is some kind of old nostalgia thing with the college that will be gone forever. Yeah, I don't know, but there's always my whole life there's been college football controversies and bowl games and rankings and everything. It's just part of what college football is, right? It's just always what it is. So yeah.
Agreed. And it does get rid of, it also does get rid of the, okay, this team's really good. Yeah, but they haven't played anybody because now all the conferences kind of do play in the same thing. So as it's going to suck for the first couple of years, I think, because it does suck. It's cool to like watch certain conferences like kind of battle it out, but it'll be for a while. It'll be like, well, okay, but like we're going to get a more honest top 25, I think, of teams because they are going to, in the most part, we've seen them play similar teams from each other. I don't know how much the schedules are going to change, but I'm not the expert on college football. I think the Armenian's really good at that. So listen to the back wall. He's great.
By the way, Duke, I should have taken your Swift over rushing yards. I saw it in the Discord. I created a little parlay. I got 4 out of 5, so it was still good. But I took Swift over rushing attempts. And I swear they fucking counted it wrong because he got 12, but I took the attempts instead of the yards, and that was the one that didn't hit, where that would have been a big 5 out of 5, but it would have been a big, but I still got 4 out of 5. So it was still all right, but I should have taken, and I knew it too. I fucking knew, I saw it. I was like, I'm going to regret fading, not in fading, but just not following Duke.
Ignoring, yes.
And yeah, I had to pay for that.
All right. So next one, it's a 3-parter. This is from Frank Ross, another longtime listener. Frank Ross, amazing runner. My Lord, you should watch that guy's Strava stats, man. Amazing. Like fucking 6-minute miles and stuff. Just stuff that I couldn't do in my prime. Even though I was a marathon runner, I couldn't even touch what that dude's doing. So shout out to him. And he was on Gain of Fiction Volume 4, American Tabloid, as the resident JFK schizo. I say that with love because that man knows everything about that case, the base stuff too. So, all right, here we go.
Hey, Rare Candy, long time listener. Wanted to ask you guys a couple questions, but I think there are 3 in particular. You don't have to answer all of them, but
I'm gonna
first,
answer.
What's your go-to Turkey Day food item? Question 2, in your lifetime, what do you think has been the biggest culture shock, political moment, et cetera, that you've experienced? And the third question, since starting Rare Candy and the people that came up with you, the one that's really popping in my mind is the black.com pill gentleman. Do you feel like you've seen the scene in some senses crumble, get stronger, change? How has that been? That's the one I'm the most interested in, obviously. But hey, if you have questions to answer any of them, I'm thankful. But even if not, appreciate the pod helping me get through the slog at work. Take it easy, guys. Sincerely, Frank. Later.
Oh yeah, shout out.
Take the first one. Turkey Day, Thanksgiving. It is coming up. Well, you probably have a different Thanksgiving than a lot of people. So what do you do?
Well, it's all the same basic stuff, just updated. I'll just quote Mac Dre on this one. I like gravy on my potatoes. Wrap and break hose is how my day goes.
Yeah, so true.
Just
like you.
That answers. Yep. So that's me. Gravy. I'm a big gravy guy. Yeah, I like making it. I'll do a shiitake powder gravy all day. Yeah.
Wow.
It's good. Yeah.
So
Great. Yeah.
I don't get. One thing I can't stand. My mom's like this. She doesn't like her food touching.
What?
I don't get. No, there's many such cases. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people that are like, I don't like when my food's touching. I'm like, okay, it's literally all going to the same receptacle though,
Yeah.
and same orifice. And for me, what I do, I love turkey. That's a weird. People have like done this weird turkey hate thing. It's very Reddit, very weird. Like when do we make another meat for Thanksgiving? No, why don't we have turkey? Fucking, it's good.
Yeah.
And so turkey, mashed potatoes. Not the biggest gravy guy, but I will. It's fine. It's not averse to it. But I like just a buttery potato, because what I do is I take that. I make a dinner roll sandwich. I make about 3 or 4 dinner roll sliders.
Mm-hmm.
Take the dinner roll, cut it open, turkey, mashed potatoes, green beans, in there too. A little cranberry sauce if you want. I'm not super big on it, but it's fine. It tastes fine in there. Just put like every part of Thanksgiving in there,
Yeah,
and then just
love
make
that.
Thanksgiving sliders. Eat the rest of the shrapnel that falls from it, and you're good. Everyone looks at you weird, but you won. So you're already weird because you're a Rare Candy fan at Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that.
They pull down.
I love the shrapnel.
They double mask. They're double masked, so they're weird.
Yeah. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's a major life hack. The second one was it the major political or like cataclysmic moment? Basically, huge cultural political moment. Yeah. I mean, the easy answer is COVID, but we talk about that all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, fuck it. I mean, it's got to be COVID. I mean, how is it not? Like, it's just crazy to see how it happened. I mean, Katrina was crazy. I just didn't live there, so like that was crazy. And just seeing, I mean, really seeing the state. I know Frank can relate to this. Seeing the state just get like California just get like insanely expensive with like less and less redeeming value, and them just selling you on selling you on this like fake mythos of Texas, like not having roads or electricity or something. They like people in California. It's like, well, like, I mean, they had a blackout, so like our taxes, like we make sure that doesn't happen. There's ice on the roads and stuff, like, and they so that and then you can't get abortions, and everyone just wants to shoot you there. In Texas is what they say. So in California, just seeing California become the anti this state, but never the most beautiful state that I actually know. Just not kind of resting on its laurels, while then like it's legal to just steal things from stores or something, like while that becomes, but you can't have a gun, and just all these crazy things. But yeah, and then COVID, just watching really just the entire event of like the world just 4x fast forward on like decay that should be happening over like 100 years. Feels like it's happened in about 4 years. That has been just awful. But you know, then again, we have this, so
yeah, and 9/11 too.
Pretty crazy.
I know that's
pretty crazy.
I don't know if that's a cop-out answer, but it's the truth. It's just like, yo, like I remember, like I said, I remember being a kid and seeing on the news, like, oh yeah, they couldn't find the plane black boxes, but they found the passports on the street, and they were reporting that. I'm like, oh, they're lying about that. Like, why would they lie about that on the news? You know, and I'm
fucking based
like,
11-year-old,
yeah, like, let's go, dude, let's fucking go, yeah, set us off, dude, yeah,
because I heard about it from Howard Stern. My parents had Howard Stern on. They didn't have the news on because it's California, right? So I'm getting ready for school. It's 6:30 or whatever, getting ready for school. And all of a sudden, like, I thought it was a bit. Yeah. But then, like, you know, we know now Howard Stern's super serial voice now because of COVID and stuff. We know that, like, it's real serious. So, but back then, like, Howard Stern was never serious. Mm-hmm. So it was like kind of crazy. And like, we didn't, like, you know, you're ready for like, and we're live outside, and it's like a woman riding a Sibian outside the like, the Twin Towers, and it's like a joke, but then we're like, no, and then a second plane hit, when like then it got really sour, like it just like the mood got really sour, and I still didn't get it. I was like, okay, planes went down, planes went into buildings, like whatever. But I really like feeling just this mood change of like my parents never cared about like any of these crazy things, and or if they did, they wouldn't talk about them with me or anything, or kind of, and would keep it light. But then the mood just got really sour, and they never got like full on like, let's go to war, find like, you know, Osama bin Laden, blah blah blah. That never happened. But I just remember them being like just overall like more like scared and on edge, and that's right after Y2K, which they didn't buy into, but all these things happening at once was kind of feels like we're at that point right now, but now it's just every week.
Yeah,
just every week, and we're like the other day somebody tried to get me to care about Argentina politics. I was like, what?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I like literally just I'm gonna nod until you stop talking to me about that. Like, yeah. Cool, sick. Like, no, that's way too far away.
100%.
Yeah. So right.
Yeah.
So now our span of care has to go across the whole globe of things that
way too
happen. But yeah. The last part, he brought up CRK. I unfortunately, I don't want to say I had a falling out with him, but I mean, I don't know. It was weird. woke up one day and I was blocked. So, whatever.
Is that what that question?
Black.com. He was saying that was
that triggered something. I was like,
he associated with. I get it. We used to go on Fed Post all the time. Still friends with Slav and COH. Great guys. We're gonna get Slav on soon. Probably do something with COH too. Like, I mean, those are good guys. It was never that. And I have no idea what that guy's up to right now. All I'm gonna say is this. That dude freaked out after getting mentioned in Vanity Fair, and I was like, "Damn, I want to get mentioned in Vanity Fair." I was like, I was like, I don't want to be around people who are scared of greatness. So, like straight up, bro. Like, that's why I fuck with Agitator. They're like full on, let's do everything cool, and like let's do it. Like, TPN, all these guys, like they're like, let's just do cool things and blow this up. This is not like a super secret operation that we do, and I don't want it to be.
No.
And I'm not one of those people that works at I don't know what he does, but I know there's a lot of people that work in the damn libtard factory making DEI videos that get spread to every Fortune 500 company, but they have a Roman statue, Avi, that they secretly post on Twitter. That's not me.
That's the thing. We're too like blue collar to care.
It's us.
People that are making
this is us. Yeah,
and we've all been in those group chats. Won't say who or what. Where everyone's working for fucking JP Morgan, making $50K a year, but they're based. Oh, great. You know what I mean? It's like, okay. It's like, yo, I'm like, yeah, it's like I'm like you said, like you're waking up at like fucking.
Well, guess what? I would shoot myself in the office at JP Morgan. I'm based.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not a shot at CRK. That's just
I don't know what he does. I know nothing about that guy. Truly.
I remember that day.
But yeah, it took me back to that moment of realizing.
And I feel that, and I'm not trying to sound condescending or like, oh, poor CRK. I'm not. This is nothing like that. But I remember that day when all that went down, and it was kind of a vicious day, and a lot of people were blocked. And I remember him. He was actually like, because you were blocked in the main account, but then he was kind of DMing me and be like, "I'm sorry, bro. Like, I just had a bad day, blah blah." And I was just like, that kind of got me off like Twitter. I'm like, yo, I need to like not be on this side as much, But I just feel I was like, dude, clearly had like a little bit of a mental crack, and and it's just it happens. It fucking happens, And
it happens.
And look, the seed was always there with that dude, though. I feel,
No, it's like, and I can tell. Like, look, I did my last episode of the Glen word was kind of about like what friends are, where I was just like, not everyone that comes on your show as a guest is like your friend, right? It's like that's not the way Dick Cavett didn't have people come on his late night show and say, "This is my friend." No, this is the person I'm talking to. It can be a very fun conversation. It can lead to a friendship. It doesn't always have to. And there are certain points when you realize we're not the same person.
By the nature of what we do, it just isn't that, Just
no. And then there are some people, like I said, like Kelby and David, people that we've met that are like, damn, these are like okay, these are my friends. Like I can be friends with these people. I've had lunch with Ben Braddock, like these people that are that are cool, like what I mean, like they're fun people, and all that. Like that I've noticed has been cool, but like we've also been insulated in our world because you and I didn't meet on Twitter. So it's a bit different. I feel like if you meet your co-host on Twitter and then first off, you don't develop that. I feel like there's like the hourglass that gets tipped over where it's like this has to work by a certain point or else we don't do it anymore because we met on Twitter and we're trying to have the most base podcast. Yeah. It's like, no, you and I were just like, let's just do this. Yeah. And we knew each other and it doesn't matter. Even if nobody ever listened to it, it's still very fun to do. Now we're thankful for the couple thousand people. Yeah. A couple thousand. It's sick.
Like, and even doing this Q&A, this mailbag these are always like a good touchstone where I'm like, people are actually checking in. These are real people, and they're
right. Cool. And seeing like going to like Apple and seeing that like X amount of people like took the time to leave you a review, which really helps us if you guys do that, and things like that. That stuff is like really cool. But like you and I have always like it doesn't matter. Like this isn't based in like a cyber world. Like we exist within our own thing. And then like I felt like everybody else had this idea to like, not everybody else, but like a lot of other people that maybe don't have their show anymore or anything. It kind of felt like, well, if I don't get to this landmark by this time, it's not going to work. And it's like, no, that's why I value delusions of grandeur in men is you have to have a slight amount of it, because if you're worried about who's listening, how many people are listening, or what the current thing is, or whatever that is, instead of just having fun and just pouring everything out into it, it's to quote South Park, you're gonna have a bad time if that's gonna happen. And we've seen people, you see people have a bad time, have their meltdowns.
Yeah.
For me, I'm kind of ruthless with stuff like that. Like I don't really care about other people's mental health except for like 15 people. Like just take it off, take it out of here, go leave. You know what I mean? Like you know this is clearly the root of all your issues. Get off of there. Again, not a shot directly at him. You see it happen every day with other people. So I'm always just like, look, like I've been there. You clearly see what's causing you the problem. Get out of there. And so it's to me, it's like let's rock, push to the moon. I wish some fucking psyop journalist would write a fucking article about us, dude.
Dude,
Go
it'd
ahead.
be endless fodder for good times and jokes.
Lie. I don't give a fuck. Lie
Yeah.
in that shit. Like put that in there. I wish, dude. I wish. Like, let's just say that much. So yeah. On that note, thanks Frank for the questions. That's great. Hopefully that answered it. I mean, like we look, you see who keeps appearing on the show, but lately we've been going more solo. Like lately we've been going more solo because it's an easier to schedule, it's easier energy, it's a quicker energy, and like I said, the numbers look better. And I'm like, well, if all those things line up, let's just keep doing it. And
honestly, the guests are for me now, for us. I feel once you were like, yeah, the solo numbers are crazy. I'm like, first of all, I was a shot. I was like, damn, that's cool as fuck.
No,
now it's like, yo,
let's yeah.
No,
it didn't used to be that way.
That's
at
crazy.
All.
Now I'm
we
like,
way
let's
more
just
dependent.
Yeah. Now I'm like, let's get Deborah Lynn Katz on it. Maybe half the people listen to it, but I just want to talk to her.
Right.
I'm
no, and
like,
look, those will happen. There's going to be more guests. We're going to shoot for some, hopefully get some, nice big names on here. But when you get a big name, it's like you got to put a nice shirt on. You got to the energy's different.
It's the Rogan button up with Elon the first time.
Yeah, it's not worse. It's not worse, but it's different. It's like you have to, and then like when it's this, it's just we're riffing and we're going, and I don't worry about what I should say that might fuck you up, and vice versa. When you have somebody on, and it's like, maybe I shouldn't have joked about that. Maybe that hasn't happened, but your mind starts racing. So that's how that goes. So our last question is, and again, if I missed yours, sorry, I don't think I did, but if I missed yours, just let me know. We'll put it on the next one. We do mailbag episodes, but like I said, the number, like just leave, I'll say it again here. The number is 510-256-9850. Just leave a voicemail. If it pops up, I'll try to incorporate it our best into the next solo episode. And it could be about anything. Ask about music, fucking movies, any of that stuff, or health, any of that. Anything we talk about on here. It's a big show, so we talk about all types of stuff. And the last one is from our boy Sean. Used to be Hawaii, now he's Japan. Sean.
Hell yeah! Oh, dude, shout out Sean, dude. Hell
literally the first person I think that like was a real person that said like, "Hey, this show's sick, dude." Like, and I knew him from football Twitter.
Raiders,
Raider Nation,
dude.
all day. So 5 and 6, it's exactly where you want to be when you want to win the title. We got the NFL right where we want them. So
Carr's out of here. I know he's happy about that, dude.
So So he asked, why does it seem like the average person has no issues with AI? This shit is a weapon.
Yeah,
I agree. I have, the Sean Stone episode, I thought he put that pretty well. He's like, look, it's here. So what are you gonna do? We don't have the tech to go back. That'd be a funny concept. You find the tech to go back in time to stop AI, but the tech was developed by AI.
Yeah, it's like a weird,
to get you back in time to go do, but then AI also just doesn't let you actually alter it. So that would be sick. But no, I wish I could. For what we use it for, like fun shirts and stuff, that's great. And like I know David and Kelby, they say it can help them with like all the arduous parts of like formatting and writing and like prompting and like all these kind of things. They've talked about that on Agitator, and I that made sense to me. The Low Res, who I'm gonna get on the show too. Low Res, Wonder Bread, independent director. He's really, really good at what he does, and he says he uses certain things, which I want to ask him about. All that stuff's great when it helps the average, man and whatever just get what they need done, and allows them to get more things done in the day. That's great. I just know that's not why there's a huge push for AI. It's not to help the average man. Like the AI took it down our fucking episode, the furry one. Like literally YouTube used AI to comb through, which it was some fucking furry like coder there. Like the furry designed the Moderna vaccine, which I think that's what we said. So hopefully hopefully they don't find it again.
Which is true. True.
Yeah, again, it's literally true. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen again. But like that type of stuff, it's like I know for a fact that it's going to be used to censor us. It's also AI to me eliminates meritocracy, like to like pulverizes it, because it does level the playing field. They're right about that. People are like, will say like, and they'll use it for like this inclusion thing, but it's like, that's how you get these shitty fucking Netflix scripts. Like it's like these chat GPT ass like AI things. And I always think that humans become the newest technology rather than the other way around, where all they do is see what AI does and then duplicate it as humans rather than using it to grow and create great things. Now, that could be the next great person, is the person who merges both. And I'm not saying that that's not there. I'm not saying that we won't do that. But for a while, I see that people use it as a way to be lazy, and that's what I don't like. It's a way to be lazy. It's a way to like you should be using all these things as like a armor, right? Like the Knights that walk from finding, those movies where the guy's like, "Fuck, I'm going to use this as a shield. I'm going to use it." You should be using all these tools while not changing your goal. But I think a lot of people just like abandon their goals and just like create like random kind of baseline good level shit with it. And I'm like, floods the market. I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, like to Sean's point, Microsoft, I just found out today, Microsoft, for all the stuff they're investing in, all the dumb farmland, all the other tech stuff, they're putting like 60 billion into this huge AGI, artificial general intelligence, trying to get there. And again, these are just fucking psychos that are running this shit, dude. And the human element too. And then you see that like there's a big drama with OpenAI. Like half their board resigned and they kicked out the founding member guy. This is the Chat GPT company, OpenAI. So the human element to this is just like, how can we trust these people? How can we trust the models and weights that are being pushed onto this? It's fucking insane. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. It's kind of like, do you ever feel like you ever just like scratching your ass in the shower and then you realize, holy shit, AI is here and it's like fucking growing just that, like that weird realization. You're like, where the important thing is that we have souls, right? And that, but do we? I mean, I know we do, but we ignore it and we don't utilize it, and we're going to give it up to the AI thing. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a great question. I agree. And you're in Japan, which like worships AI, it's like every new tech.
I was gonna say Sean probably is having some mind-boggling conversations about AI with people there. Yeah,
100%. Who's the conspiracy guy that it's so about like James? He lives in Japan. James. Fuck, Latham's been on his show and stuff. He's great, dude. He's like
Corbett.
really
James
Corbett.
Corbett.
Yeah, James Corbett. He lives in Japan, and his whole thing is like, their tech is insane, and they're all about it. But it's crazy. But shout out Sean. I also will say this: Rare Candy will have a Hawaii branch one of these days, and hopefully it'll be when your Japan stints up and you come back home, and we'll chop it up.
He gave the Jeremy Maui episode a thumbs up. Like he was like, base checks out. So that was good.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that. So I mean that's about it. One last thing I had to report was that my mom's a very well-meaning liberal. She did not raise me politically correct, but I think she's felt like a kind of a guilt complex of like, oh, I used to say all these like words and never like hardcore like racial slurs, but just like kind of funny as hell, like so like she does this like thing where, and she only does audiobooks now, so but she tears through them. Like I've recommended her a few like She did Ubik and like a lot of really cool stuff like that. So she was lamenting to me that the last 4 audiobooks that she read had hard R N words like all in them and stuff. And so one of them was Blood Meridian. That one was rocking her pretty good. She did say she liked the book, but she's like, "Ooh, I need a palate cleanser." So then she puts on Larry McMurtry's Lonesome Dove, which is like the same thing, I think. Like, I haven't read either book yet. They will be read, but she, like, it's a Western, old Western. Of course, it's a 1,000-page novel. Why would you write one if you weren't gonna pepper a few in there? And and then like I forget what the other book she read was, but then after that she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna read Flannery O'Connor, which is a woman called Wise Blood." She goes, "Woman written book, like this will be perfect." It's just like bam, 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 just like all in there. And it's funny because she's reading it. She's not having headphones in. This is being on Alexa is reading it. So like she's like scrambling to shut the windows so the neighbors don't hear like Alexa or Tommy Lee Jones saying it for like Blood Meridian or so. I can't remember if he does Lonesome Dove or Blood Meridian audiobook, but like just dropping hard R's. It's so funny. I love the concept of that. It's like, what a time to be alive.
Yeah,
what a time to be alive for that to happen. So that's I've been meaning to say that for a while on the show. So on that note, go check out the Substack. There's free and paid subscription options. Free, you get all the written stuff that's on there, and then paid, you get I don't know, almost 60 Rare Candy episodes, including 22 Gain of Fiction, 3 Coast to Coast stuff. I'm gonna try to annoy Scott to see what his schedule is like, so we can do another Coast to Coast episode, because those are absolute crowd favorites, including me in the crowd being one of my favorites. So we're gonna have to try to get those going again. And again, that's only $5 a month, so that's like, I don't know, we update it weekly. We do 2 a week. We do 2 episodes a week, half for free, half for paid. So it's you get your money's worth. It's not just like every other one or something. And Andrew Whitstadt, I just posted it today, but Andrew Whitstadt wrote a review of the David Fincher's The Killer, which I loved. He had mixed reviews on, so I liked it. I liked his review was good. I disagreed with certain elements of it, but I really enjoyed it. And there were certain parts of the narrative that that Fincher was doing in there that he didn't particularly care for. But go check it out. I think it's really well written. And one last thing I have to recommend. I have to recommend this show. Adam Lehrer loves it. Everybody else I know loves it. It's Nathan Fielder's new show called The Curse with Emma Stone and Nathan Fielder. It is so good.
Oh yeah.
It is definitely the best and kind of like least amount of pulled punches of critique of like modernity and like liberalism, and also like critique, because a lot of these shows, when you're like critiquing like woke liberals, you're still kind of like acting like it's just their fault and like that there's nobody like scamming them, you know what I mean? Like so this show takes place in like the New Mexico, kind of outside Santa Fe, so there's like a big indigenous population here, and like all sides get their part of it, and it is so good. It's like kind of like a peek behind the curtain of like reality TV, but it'll make you laugh, and also it's like I needed to wait for 2 episodes to be like, I didn't want them to like kind of get pushback on social media after week 1 and then or episode 1 and then go like, oh, actually now it's this and this, and we actually explain what we're doing is actually amplifying these voices. No, it is a scathing critique, but very well done. Emma Stone's great, and Nathan Fielder's phenomenal. If you're not watching The Curse, it is the best thing on TV right now. I think it's weird. It's one of those like it's that weird like bureaucratic like streaming thing where it's like it's on this one and this one and then this one, but not this one. So I have it on Showtime through Prime. I believe it's on Paramount Plus as well. So I think. But it is phenomenal. And I want to get Adam on to talk about it at some point, because he's got a really good read on it. And so if nobody's told you to watch it yet, or if you're on the fence on it yet, my stamp of approval. If you're an RC fan, I can't imagine you won't like it. So, yeah. On that note, guys,